Brittany Macklin's still my favorite Patriot. What's up, YouTube? It's Big Ryan, the fat guy. 4-0.
4-0.
Let that sink in.
Batting 1,000. Batting 1,000.
Big Ryan, the fat guy, went 4-0 against the spread in the 2017 wildcard weekend games. That can only be bad news for the mob that hit our comment section. You can insult me, Big Rye, for having a name to make up for my mini jewels. You can insult the fat guy for being the most fattest, disgusting, has-been, pig of a man, the worst fat guy I know.
Whoa. That is not... you're always way too harsh on me. Or not me, anybody, really. The comment section, me. It's really just poor taste, Big Rye. Considering this very positive week, we're going to start positive with comments from Josh Fredericks.
So Josh Fredericks predicted the Chiefs, Jags, Rams, and Saints were going to win. Fat guy, Joshua Fredericks has been a staple on our first few videos.
He's definitely been a staple, so he's going to get the consistency award. A la Cal Ripken, a la Brett Favre's text of his dong. Josh Fredericks, a salute to you, and I won't roast you for being mostly wrong.
Then let's look at the stud, Austin Stud. This might be the best comment we've ever received. The Seahawks are gay. French Perm Wilson needs to talk to God more and find out if he's okay for him to have balls in his mouth and ass when he's climbing the stairway to heaven.
Favorite comment of the entire channel's history.
Oh yeah.
Seahawks are a black eye of the league. It's really nice to get a good jab in on him once in a while.
Now let's go to the negative. Hudson Hindersh. How do you feel? He's told us that we're straight Jewish if you think the Chiefs are losing. And he's a Chargers fan.
Well, l'chaim to you, Hudson Hindersh. We'll make a very, very good money on this game with the Titans beating the Chiefs 22-21. Very good profit. Very, very good.
How did he know our moms were gay?
I don't know. It was a mitzvah. Trust me.
Now moving on to Kura and Eric Lee. The Titans aren't winning at Arrowhead. LOL. Chiefs rested their starters against the Broncos while Titans are banged up. Blah, 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 blah. Also, Eric Lee said, by the way, it's not Chinese New Year yet. Shake my head. And Kansas City will cover. Been betting and watching NFL too long.
Well, Eric Lee, I got some words from Confucius to live by. You don't know shit about football. Not only did Titans cover, the Titans won. So you haven't been doing it too long. So you better go back to your mysticism, run some walls. The year of the dog is starting this year. It hasn't happened yet, but satire is way over your head apparently.
How about GC Saints 12? The Saints beat the Panthers 2 times this year, but Saints always keep games close. Fade.
Fade us? How about going 0-4? Fade us this weekend. You'd lose all your money. Hats off to you for being a very unpositive week.
We're as bulletproof as the Pope. We'll finish off with some positivity. Jason Gregor said he met me once. He's the coolest guy I've ever met. I'm not sure about that. He's so cool he got named Grandmaster at the 2005 Brazilian fart porn competition. Same year, him and Tuna got disqualified for an illegal fart in the duo competition. Now, Tuna says it was a legal fart, and he knows he worked his asses off. Literally. He doesn't give a shit if the judge died. He shouldn't have been that close. Enough of all these jokes. Now, on to our 2017 Divisional Round picks against the spread. Let's start with Saturday's early game where Matt Ryan and the Falcons travel to Philly to take on Nick Foles and the Eagles. The Falcons are 2.5-point road favorites. Only 38% of the public think the Eagles can cover the 2.5 points. Fat guy, who do you like against the spread?
I like the Eagles, believe it or not. I'm big on the Falcons. I thought they were a strong team coming into this contest, if you will. But I think the Eagles at home, the advantage is kind of swayed towards them. Now you're going to say there's no Carson Wentz. It's all Nick Foles. Yeah, that's partly true. But that defense is still played for real, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're a little light in the corner spot, which kind of concerns me, especially going up against Don Julio and company. But I think the Eagles have a good enough pass rush to get it done on defense. And on offense, they have a plethora of talent at running back with a strong offensive line. So they should be able to dictate the game start to finish.
And Philly's due up, Falcons are due down. Philly looks like a good pick this week. On to Saturday's late game where Marcus Mariota and the Titans travel to New England to take on Brady and the Patriots. The Patriots are 13.5-point favorites. Only 20% of the public believe the Titans can cover the 13.5-point spread in New England. Fat guy, who do you like against the spread?
I'm all over the Titans. Anyone who's followed this channel knows a big spread like that, and I'm jumping all over it. 13.5 points is way, way too much. I think 8.5 or 8 is probably about right, but 13.5 is just way, way too much. And oddly enough, if this were a Madden game and you had perfect strategy, I think you could win with the Titans in this spot. They have a bruising running game with Derrick Henry. You just have to stick to it, and you have to go to it even in obvious situations, because I really don't think the New England Patriots have the muscle to stop them. That being said, it still is a New England Patriots, and they should win this game. I just don't like their chances to cover. So give me the Titans, give me the points. Let's see another Derrick Henry performance.
Moving on to Sunday's early game where Blake Bortles and the Jags travel to Pittsburgh to take on Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. The Steelers are 7.5-point favorites. Only 26% of the public have taken the Jags to cover the 7.5 points in Pittsburgh. Fat guy, who do you like against the spread?
Well, I think the Jags are a steal at plus 7.5. You see what I did there? It was a pun.
I get it.
Steal.
Steal.
As in Steelers. But I like the Jaguars. Don't forget the Jaguars won, I believe, 30-9 on the road in the early weeks of the NFL season against the Steelers. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibilities for it to happen. And the Jags are an excellent benefactor of having a terrible performance, more or less, against the Bills, at least on offense. So with Bortles looking so poor, and I believe throwing for under 100 yards, that makes the public less confident in them, and thus overvaluing Pittsburgh, who I believe has a far weaker defense. They have a way poorer secondary than Buffalo does, and up front, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to stop Fournette if he gets on a tear, especially with Ryan Shazier out, who is excellent at tracking both running backs out of the backfield and behind the line of scrimmage. So no Shazier, they're pretty light up front. Bud Dupree's going to have to pick up the slack. He doesn't even play the same position. I will take the Jaguars. I will take the points. I think they're going to be able to slow the Steelers' offense just enough to pull off a cover. Not necessarily a win, but a cover.
And finally, on to Sunday's late game where Drew Brees and the Saints travel to Minnesota to take on Case Keenum and the Vikings. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. Currently, 43% of the public have taken the Vikings to cover at home. Fat guy, who do you like against the spread?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say boldly, my Super Bowl favorite is the Minnesota Vikings. They do have a tough test, and there's no guarantees up against the New Orleans Saints this weekend. But I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm going to lay the points. Now, this is a revenge game for the New Orleans Saints, as they got destroyed in Week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings. Oddly enough, my survivor pick, as risky as it was. I like the Minnesota Vikings. This defense is way tougher than the Carolina Panthers defense. It's arguably the best in the league. The road's closed. Xavier Rhodes, Anthony Barr, Linval Joseph, Eric Kendricks, Harrison Smith, Danielle Hunter, Brian Robeson, Everson Griffin. That's just a loaded team. Trey Waynes, I guess. He's the Eli Apple of that team. I like the Minnesota Vikings defense. It's just a stellar unit. And offense, they've been getting it done with some creative coaching. So I like the creative coaching. I like the high-tempo defense. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings and the Vikings to win the Super Bowl.
Out of our first 8 picks, that's the first favorite we take. It's been the year of the dog.
Woof, woof.
Lightning round, Falcons at Eagles.
Flying high with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Titans at Patriots.
My Tennessee Titans.
Jags at Steelers.
Jags with the Jag Rags.
Saints at Vikings.
2018 Super Bowl champion Minnesota Vikings.
Bronies, that's it for us. Good luck with your divisional round picks against the spread. Subscribe for weekly NFL betting insight. Now, if only John Stamos and Chuck Norris could have a baby.